Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as Jmonster, and you are watching the first of a series of battles between myself and JADLI CZ. We are playing in the first round of the TWC Community Tournament Cup. Yet again, we have another one of these going on for you, and it's a very interesting matchup. We got some factions that you don't usually see here in a tournament. We have he is playing as Dale, and I am playing as Mordor, and I have this massive battle line here. I see that he's got a very short line, so my strategy, of course, is to try and wrap around him. He's got a lot of units. I'm actually going to put his unit composition in the description, and we're just going to let this battle play out really quickly. And I will put my army composition as well in the description, so you guys don't have to read it on screen. You can just take a look down in the description at your leisure. But he opens up with some fire arrows. We both end up leaving fire arrows on kind of, I thought, fairly foolishly, but it does work out for him in the end. But raining with fire arrows, you don't really get a whole lot of accuracy, but you don't have to hit too often, just once or twice, and then you get the morale debuff for having used fire arrows. So it's a pretty effective strategy. You don't usually see too many fire arrows in field battles like this. They're usually over too quickly for the morale debuff to really take its toll, but yeah, he does use it to great effect in this battle. But you guys will see what happens. So I've got my troops moving forward here. We start to exchange fireworks, and I'm trying to get my troops into combat as quickly as possible because he does have a huge archer advantage. I only brought a few archers, just enough to kind of be annoying. So I'm going to throw my Uruks in here, who are still very healthy. Unfortunately, the front rank charges while the rest of them just sit back and watch like a bunch of idiots. So the front rank is going to get slaughtered right here. It says the balance of force is evenly matched, but things are not going well for our Uruks. They're already, yeah, you could see just a moment ago, they're already on the point of being shaken. He's moving his heavy cavalry forward here. Unfortunately, Mordor does not have an answer to this, which is why I brought many spears, but my halberds here are going to get the brunt of this. We're going to get my Uruks into a scrap with these Horseguards. Don't ask me to pronounce that. I couldn't even begin to. And we have my Olog-Hai here, who, this is a bit of a micro error on my part because I have so many forces. I'm trying to micro them. Unfortunately, my general's getting shot up here too. I've got a lot of spearmen, a lot of Morannon Guard, and I'm trying to defend my back lines because I've learned in previous games with Admiral Thrawn that left to their own devices, cavalry can do a lot of damage. So specifically to counter this, I brought a lot of spearmen. I thought I could catch him in here because he was busy elsewhere, but unfortunately he does see my spearmen coming for him. So he's going to be able to pull out. He's got a unit of Rhovanion Riders back here, but I am countering them with my own very limited heavy cavalry. It's also my general's bodyguard unit and my Orc Band. But if you go ahead and take a look over here, we are doing a fairly good job initially of staving off his cavalry advances. He's managing to keep us busy in a lot of different places, which is really stretching my micro to the limit. Very good strategy on his part. In the center here, we are getting absolutely slaughtered, even by this light infantry. The Swordsmasters are coming in to reinforce his front lines, and his archers are, because we have no cavalry, his archers are free to harass us. So he's going to get a nice charge off here with his Dale cavalry. He's going to annihilate our poor Uruks, who are doing so well against these guys. Just going to tip the scales in his favor, and he's going to follow that up with unit Earls here. So a really nice flanking and rear charge maneuver here by our opponent. My Morannon Guard are just too slow to get into the fight. We do manage to catch him with our black Numenorians and slaughter quite a lot of his cav, but they end up staying in much longer than they need to. So our center here has been routed, completely destroyed by his light infantry and his Swordsmasters. Our archers are being picked apart here. We're not managing to do a whole lot of damage to this light cavalry. It says they are heavy, but they are fairly lightly armored. He's got a unit of Earls in the back here, which we've managed to do a lot of damage to with our 2 units of Trolls and numerous units of Spearmen who we have guarding our flanks. I've got a couple units of Morannon Guard here. Very good units, but they're so spread out right now. He's managed to get another nice rear charge in here in the back with his light Dale cavalry against our Spearmen. But the longer they stay in, the longer the battle is going to turn against them. We are managing to hold on our flanks here. This is probably our strongest area. We did outflank his Earls here, but they're doing so much damage. And there goes our general. Oh, no. And this is where things start to go pretty downhill for us because Orcs do not have the morale to stick around without their general, especially when they're being pelted by unimpeded archers using fire arrows. We're having a pretty bad time with this engagement. So we are starting to commit our reserves, but our reserves end up being all over the place, just trying to chase his cavalry, just trying to keep them busy, trying to constantly presented danger to them. So we are going to manage to catch a couple units of his cavalry here as they are attacking our archers, and they're trying to charge into the backs of our troops. We are shooting them with our archers at the same time, as well as trying to bog them down with our spearmen. It's going okay for us, but the battle on the front lines has largely been lost. These Barding Hird are just holding the line. He's managing to outflank this blob here with his Dale Swordsmen. And of course our morale is flagging because our general has been destroyed, and these constant cavalry attacks are just not helping whatsoever. So these guys are running down our port Uruk Halberds. We're managing to get in a real nice charge here with our spearmen, starting to surround some of his horsemen, but they just won't die. They just won't friggin' die, and they're dealing a lot of damage in return to our Morannon Guard. You can see them. We have surrounded them, but they've also surrounded us, although we do manage to kind of turn the battle around just a little bit here. And you can just watch his horsemen just fall apart. Over here, our Uruk Archers are doing a real good job of fighting against his cavalry. We've managed to rout his the remnants of his Dale cavalry here. But unfortunately, he's had a big breakthrough, and he's surrounded our Uruk Archers, and they're going to start to run. So we're going to throw our Trolls into the mix here. We've got another unit of Orc Spearmen on the run. And he's going to come in with a nice rear charge here by his Earls. Thankfully, we have these routers here, and it's going to kind of break up the charge a little bit, as well as his own units. So he's not going to get as powerful of a charge off into the rear of our Trolls as he would have otherwise gotten. Our Olog-Hai, of course, are there to hit these guys in the rear while these mountain trolls hold the line. But he's bringing in some more heavy infantry here with armor piercing, which is pretty deadly, pretty hard for our troops to stand up to. So he's got another nice cavalry charge here into our Uruks. He's doing a really good job of keeping my archers just completely distracted. Unimpeded, they would have been able to do a lot better, I think, against these Athala Rangers. Also, of course, if the rain wasn't here impeding our accuracy, because these guys are not in loose formation, so we would have been able to do a lot of damage to them. Over here on this flank, our Uruks are holding, but defeat is certain, and you can see things are starting to turn in favor of the forces of Dale. So I do manage to get a unit of Morannon Guard spearmen in here, but still victory is certain, and I see this cavalry charge coming in here, so I try to reform my troops so they can present a spear wall, but unfortunately he gets a really nice charge in here and completely decimates this unit of Morannon spearmen. Although, surprisingly enough, they don't rout. A credit to their race, I suppose. They don't rout, even though everyone else is running away at the same time. So just unimpeded, deadly fire here from his archer units. Those fire arrows are just taking a toll. They completely destroyed our troops here. Routed quite a lot of troops. Fairly healthy unit, about 44 Orc Spearmen in there. Would have been real useful for outflanking these Dale Swordsmen. We do have another unit of Morannon Guard here that we could use to turn the tide, but unfortunately they are stuck in battle here against these just a few Dale Swordsmen, and they're just not managing to kill them fast enough to be in use anywhere else in the battlefield. So we managed to wipe out, for the most part, that unit of Earls, and these guys are going to charge into us, but it's not going to be nearly as deadly as it was the last time, and we are actually going to wipe out most of that unit. Over here we have our Trolls finally managing to disrupt his archer fire, but it is too little too late. At this point, I'm just going for kills and seeing what happens. It might have been a smarter idea to bring my Trolls into here and to smash this unit of his infantry, at which point we might have been able to rally and go against his bowmen. But at this point, I think I had accepted the fact that I was going to lose. And there goes my Morannon spearmen right there. So at this point, really all I have left is a few ragged units of archers, a few units that have managed to come back from routing. But most of my units are actually being run down by his Rhovanion Riders, which is a good move on his part, because I do have a lot of routing troops who's going to go and take out these Uruks and these Orc Band here. This is my last series concentration of troops. So yeah, that's going to be the end of them, unfortunately. And in the meantime, what units I do have still left in the fray, there's our last unit breaking from that combat with the Dale Swordsmen, have been completely annihilated. So he has a lot of healthy units here, as you can see. It's a pretty overwhelming victory for the forces of Dale, and most of his archer units, of course, are still intact. We are managing to deal a lot of damage to his archers. He's lost almost all of his infantry. He does have a couple, one or two fairly healthy units. But most of them were destroyed. A lot of his troops, I think, are mostly his archers. His cavalry wing, of course, has also been completely annihilated. I think the healthiest unit he has is a unit of 12 Horseguards in the back there. And, a unit of 20 Rhovanion Riders. But they're quite like cavalry. Not beastly units like the Earls of Dale, who we managed to actually wipe out in their entirety, I believe. So, my Trolls here, they're just... I'm determined to fight this out to the end, so I'm going to try and take down as many of the Dalish troops as I can. It's 57%, so he's got quite the army left. The Dismounted Earls are going to come in here, and they're going to make all the difference. Yeah, even the Olog-Hai can't beat these 2 units of Athala Rangers on their own, as well as a unit of Earls. So they are going to fall. We're going to speed it up just a wee bit. His troops, yes, they managed to surround us and completely destroy our poor trolls, who fought to the very end before their Lord Sauron. I don't think we have any other troops who are left. No, most of them have been completely routed or destroyed. I'll take a look at the carnage here. Just look at this. A lot of dead Dalish troops, but he did very well, and he was outnumbered. So at the end of the battle, he has almost 1,000 troops left. It was just a very difficult fight for us. We did manage to kill about 1,000 of his soldiers, but unfortunately we do lose this battle. So I will see you guys again in the next battle. We do actually go into overtime. We have a series of 3, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Stay tuned. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.